Children, today we'll begin with a question answer of Ranga's marriage. So, the very first question from NCRT is comment on the influence of English, the language, and the way of life on Indian life as reflected in the story. What is the narrator's attitude to English? So, and the answer is the narrator's attitude to English is that very few people of Hoshiali village had awareness about English. After returning from Bangalore, Ramarao's son Rangappa, news of his coming spread here and there in the village. Those days it was shameful to speak language while speaking Kannada. One day a woman brought firewood to the Ramarao's place. His son Rangappa attended that lady in the absence of his father. He told that lady that had not changed, so he advised her to come next day. The woman could not understand the meaning of the word change, and she got angry. This was the influence of language spoken by Rangappa that many people gathered to his house to visit him. So this was the answer. Children, actually in this answer, basically the narrator is trying to tell us the condition of the language and the importance rather of the language spoken, and especially English at that time. So what was the importance at that time, and what happened, children, I told you this question is also very important, that what happened at that time. So when it was a great event. Ranga's homecoming was a great event, and the crowds, they milled around his house to see whether he has changed or not. Because children, why people thought that he would change? Actually, people were quite excited as the boy was returning home from after studying English at Bangalore. He was studying English at Bangalore and he came home. So everyone was surprised to see that Ranga was the same as he had been 6 months ago. And 6 months ago when he left the village. So the language he had spoken, like in case if I ask you that what was the thing, so you can say that the narrator says that during the last 10 years, the English language has made inroads into Indian countryside. Now there are many languages, children. Now there are many people rather who speak English and many of the languages also. But during the holidays, one come across them on every street talking in English. They bring in English words even while talking in Kannada. So narrator actually in this lesson, he considers it disgraceful. Why and how he felt that it is disgraceful? He illustrates point of view by giving an example. What example, children, he gave? Actually, a bundle of firewood was bought at Ramarao's house. So his son asked the woman how much she should give her, and when she said 4 paisa, the old boy told her that he did not have any change and asked her to come the next day. So the poor woman did not understand the English word change and went away muttering to herself. Thus the use of English language before a native Kannada speaker caused confusion. Next question. Astrologer perceptions are based more on hearsay and conjecture then what they learn from the study of the stars. Comment with reference to the story. Now, the story, now the answer. The narrator of the story takes the responsibility to pursue Rangappa to marry with Ratna. Ratna was Ramarao's beautiful niece. Ranga built a plan and strike deal with Shastri, who was a popular astrologer. After some time, the narrator accompanied Rangappa to Shastri's place. Shastri convinced Rangappa that he would begin liking a girl. His name was beginning with the letter R. The astrologer calculated the position of stars and told him all the things. The narrator had already planned the events. So later on, Rangappa felt that astrologers' perceptions are based more on hearsay and conjecture than what they learn from the study of the story. Children, in this was the answer actually, but I'll explain you the answer. Actually, this story presents astrologers in an unfavorable light. The author seems to be having a dig at them. And why he says that? Because through the words of the narrator, we can find out that the author seems to be having a dig at them. The story actually gives a graphic description of how the narrator employs the astrologer. Why did he employ the astrologer, children? Children, the narrator employs the astrologer to trick an unwilling young man to agree to marry a young girl. He tutors him in all that he wants him to say. The narrator took Ranga to the astrologer. The Shastri took out his paraphernalia. These included 2 sheets of paper. I have already told you the meaning. It is 2 sheets of paper, some cowries, and a book of palmyra leaves. And these things they call the astrology of the ancient science. And he moved his lips fast as he counted on his fingers. So he did all the calculations before telling Ranga that he was thinking about a girl. And she had the name of something found in the ocean. In case if he's thinking of the girl, his name is related to something which is found in the ocean. He assured them that their negotiations would definitely bear fruit. So Ranga was impressed by the science of astrology. That evening, the narrator congratulated Shastri. He told Shastri for repeating everything he had taught without giving rise to any suspicion. So he mocked astrology by saying, what did he say, children? What a marvelous Shastra yours is. So the Shastri didn't like it and said that he would have found it out himself from his Shastra. Children, this shows that astrologers' perceptions are based more on hearsay and conjecture than what they learn from the study of the stars. They say what they listen, what they see, rather than the study of the stars. Okay. The next question is, I have given you this question, children, so not to worry and don't ask question again and again. In case if you have written that Indian society has moved a long way from the way the marriage is arranged in the story, discuss. So in case if you have not written, you can write it down, and if you have written, then don't write it down. According to the Indian society, couples are made in heaven. The custom of marriage is ancient. Only arranged marriage have been more successful. The story writer played a vital role in scheduling the Rangappa marriage with Ratna. In the present, love marriages are still not acceptable in many societies. Now, with the change of time, the youth started to seek their life partners on their own wills, which was not considered valid and acceptable in the society of the past. Actually, I wanted to explain you this question. This question is very important. Children, in the past, marriages in India were usually arranged by the parents or relatives. The story Ranga's marriage shows how the narrator arranges Ranga's marriage with the help of the astrologer. Children, after independence, certain changes have come in the economic and social setup of Indian society. Women empowerment has made women men's comrades and equals and not a mere prisoner. They are not confined within the four walls. Women education and access to jobs have changed the attitude of modern males towards them. Now, children, we can say a girl is accepted as a partner in marriage for her worth or qualities rather than the dowry. Marriageable young boys and girls have now more say in the choice of partners. But children, early marriages have, and we can say that in case the early marriages, which used to be like the girl is 14 and the boy is 15, they used to get married. But now, children, these have been banned legally. The government, they have fixed up the minimum age for marriage. See, for a girl is 18 and for a boy it is 21. So by actually why they have done it? Because by this time they attain physical, emotional and mental maturity. Indian society has certainly moved a long way from the time of arranged marriages, when the formal consent of a bride or a bridegroom was taken for granted and the elders fixed everything. So now it has changed. These days the scenario has changed. The last question: what kind of a person do you think the narrator is? The narrator is very skilled history person and is more imaginative. He is an expert planner. He is capable to arrange the things properly. He gives significant clues while narrating the story. He prepared Rangappa to marry with Ratna as her plan. The narrator played a tactful role in their marriage. Now, children, I'll explain you this question. In this question, who is the narrator? What is the name of the narrator? The narrator name is Shama. He's dark in color and he calls himself a dark piece of oil cake. Children, he is an elderly gentleman. You can also write down he is keen observer of men and manners. He notices the influences of English, the language and the way of life on Indian society. He is a purist who is pained at the indiscriminate use of English words in Kannada conversation. He is not happy to see that. He considers it disgraceful. What is disgraceful according to the narrator, children? In case if the question comes, then you can write down that the indiscriminate use of English words in Kannada conversation. The narrator is pained to see that. He does not approve of the English custom of love marriage either. He is well-meaning gentleman who has the good of others in his heart. He learns of Ranga's view about marriage from himself and he is a good judge of human character. You can also write down this thing also, that he is a good judge of human character and he thinks that Ranga would make a good husband. Children, this narrator, the Shama, the narrator of the story, he is a good strategist. He cleverly calls Ranga to his home when Ratna is singing a song. He notices Ranga's reaction and interest in her and arouses his curiosity. How he manages to arouse the curiosity, children? He arranged a meeting with the astrologer, he arranged a meeting. And then what did he do is, first he says that Ratna is married, but when he finds Ranga deeply interested in her, he confesses that he was wrongly informed. In short, the narrator tries his utmost to get the marriage settled. The narrator loves fun and humor. He has the capacity to make others laugh at him. He employs a rambling style and gives many similes and metaphors. And why he gives similes and metaphor, children? He gave similes and metaphors to heighten the literary value of the story. So you can say that the touches of local color make the story full of ethnic color and authentic. You can note down these questions. This is your assignment only, and you will note down the question answer. In case if you have done the third question, just leave it, then rest, do it in the notebook and submit your assignment on time.